allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you much.
Sorry, I'm a little lightweight call. That's all I need to say, isn't it?
Yes. We have one citizen to be heard. That's Pat. Can you come up there and make sure the microphone is on, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Pat Russo, 187 Heron Oaks, Rockport, Texas, and County Commissioner for Precinct 3. I just had a couple of questions. I didn't see them on the agenda, which I looked at beforehand and just scanned again this morning. I know I had asked in December and then in January about the audit, and I didn't see that on here, and so I was curious about that status.
It's not complete yet.
Close.
We are trying to get it completed as soon as possible. That's quite actually up to the auditor to determine when it's complete.
We're expecting it very soon. We're just waiting on one last piece of
Soon as
information, is
possible.
my understanding.
Okay, I noticed all the boxes along the wall, and I thought, well, maybe it would be today, but. And then the other question I have, and I don't expect an answer today, but I just wanted to put it out there. I know that shortly after Commissioner De Leon was on the board, that he had asked some questions about the credit cards that the district has, who has access to them, and if they could be put on the accounts payable sheet, perhaps individually, to show who is charging what necessarily, not item by item, but at least a dollar amount. And I've never heard any update about that, and I was just curious if you might, at a future meeting, let us know what the protocol or your policies are for who has credit cards on your staff, and what the overview
We
is.
can certainly do that, and we'll do that when the audit is available. That will be part of one of our reports.
Great, thanks very much.
We will. Thank you, Pat. Okay, open meeting. Subject for deliberation and or action. Number one is to approve the minutes of our regular scheduled meeting, which was held on January 17th. We need to table that. They're just simply not ready because of other business that our office was engaged in. So we'll have that report at our next meeting. Accounts. Approve accounts payable. Keith?
Yes, in your package, you have an itemized list of the payables with a total of $230,643.21.
I do have one quick question, which is probably fairly simple to answer. I did notice, and this is in a January 12th item, it's $5,700 for Skiddo cans. Do we still have those this time of year?
We never stop.
Okay. Where are they now?
They're scattered up and down the beach.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, we don't have the numbers that we have when we're in the
Sure,
spring and
I
summer.
know that.
As spring break comes, that number will
Sure.
jump.
Understandable, I just thought it was a little odd for this time of year.
I mean, when you're out there and we have the walkers and the joggers and the bird watchers, a lot of them can't make it walking a half a mile to one of our permanent facilities. So
I could understand that.
it's just it's a cleanliness thing, a courtesy thing, but yes,
Me too.
that's an ongoing
And I
cost.
sympathize with them, so.
We all do at this
Yeah.
age.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the accounts payable for February 20th, 2024.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, approved treasurer's report. Keith again.
Yes, January beginning cash, $7,309,588.44. Receipts, $688,741.33, with an interest of $34.04 for disbursements of $632,845.03 for a total of $7,366,218.78. We also have $1 million set in our emergency fund and $59,000 in breakwater bulkhead repair for available funds of $6,307,218.78.
Questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report for January 2024.
I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4, presentation by Jennifer Day on Rockport Cultural Art District Interface Statue Project.
Okay, Jennifer Day, 902 East Cornwall, Rockport, Texas. I'm here to represent the Rockport Cultural Arts District in our project in partnership with the Navigation District. Our landmark cultural interface. Was actually expecting Steve here, maybe he'll show up here shortly. And we're gonna walk through the last 3 remaining items before we do some major PR. Steve? Let's see. Nope, okay. All right, so let's go ahead. So I think, Judy, you can see the.
I can see, yes, I'm
Okay,
fine.
perfect. We could just move forward.
It's a little skewed, but it's good.
You want me to move out of the way? So you
No,
can
no,
see
no,
that?
no, you're fine.
Okay, so really, this just kind of is a blast from the past. You know, we started this project in August of 2020, if you can believe that. And here we are today, and we can just keep going. These are the things that ARC had agreed to champion. This is where we were. We actually did this in August of 2020, and right up here. Things that have morphed and had their own little life through this sculpture project. Okay. And we've changed the initial presentation to be the one, as we all know. This is what we unveiled December 7th. It was quite a landmark event, and we want to even grow the visibility of this in a big way for this community, as well as Steve's recognition. Okay. Okay. A little, really just statistics. Okay, these are the things that we have left to complete. We've got 2 black, beautiful granite markers that are being etched right now in Bryan, Texas. They will be here in Rockport this week. I've lined up the crew to get them installed this week. So that's really a great step forward. The native landscaping and period grasses, as well as adding oyster shell to the base, is also one of the things remaining, as well as accent lighting, and that's been through electrics. ACND's really been championing that with Phil with electrics, and Steve has been working with him as well. And then last is to lead some major media coverage. Okay. Okay, here's an example of the black granite marker that will go as the lead marker, and then next will be the special donor recognition. Okay. Okay, so I've got Charlie Belair with me. Charlie is going to be leading the landscape grasses, and I also handed out to each one of you this sculpture landscape plan, and Charlie's going to be going through that. Keynotes here is that the plants will be sustainable and no mowing or other maintenance once they're established. And I want to make sure that that is an agreeable thing, that we get that, you know, that consensus from the NAB district.
You okay with that, Keith?
Well, we just gotta see how that comes to pass, because, you know, we gotta keep it to where people can get around it. But as we have on those berms, we do have some areas that are unmowed, so if that works, we will continue. I mean, anything we don't have to run a mower through is a blessing for us.
Right, it would be a win-win,
That's what I was talking
and the
about.
fact that there is,
It'd be a blessing.
there's sidewalk all the way around the sculptures. I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but that is something, we wanna make sure that we do get a commitment, because we're gonna be putting in a lot of energy, money, et cetera, to put those grasses in. And those grasses are gonna be, grasses that would have been there when these, Europeans came on shore, which is also a whole nother level of connectivity, I guess, for the spirit of that sculpture. So that's a very important thing that we get consensus before we start that project, okay? Charlie, you wanna come on up and talk about, the plan that you've got in front of you?
Yeah, this, as I mentioned to Keith before, this is something that we're doing voluntarily, not for profit. Have to pay some bills, but it's something that I've been friends with Steve for 50 years, and we talked about it, met out at the site with Jennifer and Steve, and well, one of my former employees said, hey, let's plant a little strip of grass on the shoreline, so at least it's not just St. Augustine taken back over. And conversations continued, and it led to the idea of why not put in vegetation that was probably very likely there whenever Cabeza de Vaca, Lafitte, these others, when they actually came ashore and met with the Native Americans. Oh, great idea. Well, the one only really reservation I have about it is that if it takes a lot of effort to put these in, we're not going to go buy any plants. We're going to, hey Steve, just talking about you. We're going to locate plants that can be rescued from mowing or rescued from construction. We're doing a little bit of this voluntarily with the county now. But if we go to this trouble, it's a lot more trouble than, it's cheaper, but it's a lot more trouble than going to a landscaper, get them delivered, put them in. So we don't want to go to all that trouble if it's gonna be, if we can't have the area where it's a no-mow zone. And the only area that we're talking about, if you have this map, I don't have any graphic support anymore since I'm retired. So this is what I normally give to the draftsmen, to the GIS people.
Where is the statues compared to the oleander at this, on this drawing?
Right on top of it.
That's it.
I was gonna say, Yolander's gone.
Figured, but wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's gone. But it's just the area that is, if you go look at it, we're only talking about putting in the vegetation in the area that is now disturbed. It has just dirt. And so it's fairly well outlined on this little sketch that you have. And so if there is a way to have agreement that nothing within this perimeter will be mowed, you know, maybe the edges of the sidewalk going in. Sure. But anyway, we'll put this vegetation in, and it will start at the shoreline with smooth cordgrass. As you go up in elevation, they have marsh hay cordgrass and Gulf cordgrass, and then your seacoast blue stem, bushy blue stem. And then when you get up on the high upland, we would have the native shrubs that we have in our area: sweet bay, wax myrtle, yaupon, you know, small shrubs. With some flowering plants to make it attractive to the visitors. Some of the native plants that we have that most people don't get to see, but you see them on your boat all the time. There are plants that can, native plants that tolerate salt water or salty soil. And they have yellow flowers, blue flowers and such. We'll put some of those along the perimeter so it can be aesthetically pleasing. But if we could have an agreement to not mow in the area, and whatever you want, however we need to mark it, we will, so that mowing can be avoided. Because it'll take a year for these plants to fill in, and so anyway.
Are you planning on putting in any of your natural filtration design in this? Any kind
Absolutely.
of the things we were working for? When I heard, I was like,
That's
oh,
what
yeah.
Mother
So,
Nature
and I
used to
haven't
do,
talked to you.
and so
Yeah.
we're putting that back. Yes, any runoff that from the sculpture itself, from the concrete walkway, any runoff will go through native vegetation before it enters Little Bay. It'll be filtered.
Just one question. since it's gonna take months, a year, you say, of course,
Good
y'all,
stuff.
y'all will continue to monitor and reprove or any problems that show up,
Yes,
y'all identify them and
yes. Bobby Forbes, some of y'all know him, he worked for me for 30-some-odd years, and he's now with Anchor. But he came up with the idea originally, so he's going to help me as we go along.
Okay.
great.
I do have one question, and I ask this because we've had these issues come up. The front entry of my neighborhood has a lot of native plants and adapted plants, but they do die sometimes, and they do need to be replaced, and sometimes some of them, they need to be cut back. Whose responsibility will that be?
We haven't discussed that.
Well, that would be
I mean-
part of the maintenance, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And you said you're gonna take care of the maintenance.
yeah, for the first year, we want to make sure they establish. After that, the perimeter, like Keith's people, y'all's people,
Sure.
will take care of the perimeter. The inside's going to take care of itself. So I don't know.
They do die.
Most of
Well,
these things
no.
are gonna be pretty self-sustainable, and if they have to have some replacements, we'll work with Charlie on how
Okay.
we do that.
I'm just saying, be prepared for that.
You're in the natural environment where the neighborhood entrance is kind of up and high and some stuff probably forced, so I look forward to seeing it. I see it every day. It's gonna be pretty cool there.
It's gonna be
Okay.
a good
Well,
question.
On the issue of dying, we planted
Don't
7
use that
million
issue, please.
and had an 85% success rate. So maybe 15% will, but with this,
I think sometimes it depends on the extent of how deep the freeze is.
yeah,
Because we have some that they're just gonna have to be,
Yeah.
they'll have to be cut off, they will come back, but
Yeah.
they'll have to be cut off at the
And the
ground.
natural habitat tends to fill in for itself.
Well, but my point is that we get a hard freeze, they will die back to the ground.
Whatever happens.
Good
And my
deal.
question is, who's responsible for that?
That's a great question.
Then
Yeah.
we, and
Yeah.
we'll work it out.
Yeah, I think,
Well,
I think
that's-
the partnership between RCAD and ACND, we'll take responsibility, but we want to work with you as well.
Sure.
So obviously, there's going to have to be that communication. As far as funding, we can deal with that. I mean, this thing's going to be so, when we're finished and we market this thing, it's going to be so well visited. Everybody has a vested interest to make sure that it looks pristine.
It'll be just fine.
So, is there any commissioner that does not agree to the non-mow?
I don't think we don't have a action.
No, but
Presentation.
But no, I'm a no, I don't have an
any
objection.
questions that would be negative.
Continue forward.
Okay, okay, perfect. Well, we're almost finished. And Steve, I don't know if you wanna talk at all, or? No. Okay. Okay. Okay, beautiful picture. We'll have many more, and that's the end of our presentation.
Thank you.
Yes,
Could you switch back to that
Sure.
for just a minute so we could look at the area and you could maybe just.
sure,
put your
okay.
hand there and say,
Okay, so we're talking about this area right
You missed it.
Steve's not in there. There he is right there.
Can you leave that one out? There you go.
Is this the one you're wanting? Is that the one you want? This is the one you want?
yes, but I guess he wants one with him, so.
Oh,
But right now, that area is pretty raw, since we've brought in so much equipment and,
Yeah,
you know, all that, so
It's
it'll
torn up.
look good when he goes back.
it looks good when you put grass on it.
yeah, and as far as his timing, from Charlie's standpoint, he's ready to roll as soon as we had this communication about the maintenance. That's really important that we don't,
That was the beginning of the discussion when we first talked about that the cultural,
arts
community
district,
was gonna take control of it.
yes, yes.
So we're done.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, we still have the lighting that
Sure.
the NAB district
It's
is
in
championing
process.
that, right?
Right.
So, okay, all right,
Jennifer?
yes,
I would like to say in public, on the record, I've known Steve for a long time, probably 20 years now, and these people coming ashore and changing the world have always been kind of in his mind. I've seen many of his paintings depicted, and your charge and your efforts to get this done which has been a dream of his, and obviously a dream of mine to see it happen, and obviously yours. So congratulations and thanks for all the hard work, because you've really powered that through.
Well,
Most excellent work.
thank you. But remember, we're partners here too.
Absolutely.
But Tommy, thank you.
We're in it.
And, you know, anyone.
It wouldn't have happened without you.
Well, it wouldn't have happened without Steve
Well,
being.
we know that.
The artist, right? So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's going to prove to be a huge draw, which you always envisioned as well.
We appreciate your vision.
Speaking of vision, Keith, can you install table lamps up here so that we can see this? I mean, if this is the best lighting.
I put the bright whites in there, I thought they were helping you.
You want to use some powerful ones?
Oh, I tell you though, I hate to go like this.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, number 5 on our
Take care, Steve.
agenda, consider and possible action for approval of a new lease request for Mr. Hatham regarding Cove Harbor Marina and Dry Stack LP leased properties. Keith, Judy, somebody?
I'll go ahead. I've had some conversations recently. We're very close on this, but we need to discuss this in closed session because there are a few little tweaks that we might need to make. And so,
Well,
I'm not sure it's ready. When I talked to Jerry, he said he's not sure it's ready for prime time yet. So I'd like to table this until at the very earliest after our closed session.
Please.
so in other words, you want to move.
Sure, let's move it. We may end up
Okay.
tabling.
We hadn't seen the lease. We don't know any details on any changes.
Consider and possible number
So I-
6.
So it's going to table?
Table.
Motion to table, number 5.
Okay,
Well,
Yes,
I'm moving it to.
You're going to move it,
Okay.
okay.
All
I'm just
right.
gonna move
I
it.
withdraw my motion.
all right, just move it to after
That's
closed.
correct. Number 6, consider and possible action to approve a request from First Baptist Church of Rockport to utilize the Laurel Street Festival grounds on Sunday, March 31st this year for their Easter sunrise service. This event setup is scheduled for 5:30 in the morning. The event is due to end by 8 a.m. the same day. Keith?
Yes, I mean, this is another one of our almost historic events that happened down here. We've had to move it, behind our office on occasion because it was the grounds were set up for an event. But right now, this year on Easter Sunday, we do not have anything that's gonna set up on the festival grounds. So I would ask that you approve the Baptist Church's request. It's all denominations, but it's their year to make the request.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Item number 7, consider and possible action approving a request from Flatsworthy, Inc. to compose a letter of support in relation to grant funding opportunities for a study project. The project is to study the effects of boat traffic in shallow flats. This is something that has been a problem and needs study.
We, Chairman, this project has moved forward, and we were unable to get a letter of support out with our meetings scheduled, so no need to consider it, no need to table it.
Okay. Is the study going forth though? Is this gonna happen?
It's been applied for, so we.
Okay, very good. So no action on item 7.
No action.
Item 8, deliberate and possible action approving a request from Texas Marine Museum to utilize the Laurel Street Festival grounds on Thursday, May 23rd this year for parking associated with the Patrons Party. This request includes the closure of Chambers Street from Loop 70 to Navigation Circle. The Texas Maritime Museum also requests to approve to host the annual Wine Festival, which will be held on Saturday, May 27th this year. Keith?
Well, once again, this is a great event. The festival grounds plays a minor role in it other than parking. We close Chamber Street as the request states, so people can walk safely across Chamber over into the museum grounds. It's worked very well in this configuration for a number of years. As this event has grown, that parking has become more and more important to them. So at this point, I'd ask for your approval on it.
Any questions?
This only asks for parking for the patrons party on the 23rd. I'm assuming they need it as well on the 27th?
Yeah, they will.
Okay. Motion to approve the parking from May 23rd to Saturday, May 27th, 2024.
A second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item number 9.
Man, we host some parties.
Yeah, we do.
Consider impossible action, a request made by Rockport Songwriter Association to close the Fulton Harbor Access Road off of Fulton Harbor Road that lies between 202 North Fulton Beach Road and the ACND property, which is located at 335 DeForest Loop. The closure is to minimize vehicle traffic disturbances for the Rockport Songwriter Festival scheduled for November the 8th through 10th of this year. Now, that's something new. Tell us about that, Keith.
Well, on the Songwriters Festival, there's a lot of acoustic guitar and other things being played under that tent there next to Charlotte Plumbers. Some people's muffler doesn't quiet their vehicle quite as loud as quiet as we would like. To isolate that area, not only for sound, but also safety, I think is vital. It's not going to hurt vehicular traffic around Fulton Harbor because there's other access points and exit points. But to make sure this is safe and everybody can enjoy this event to their fullest, again, I'd like to request that you would approve this closure.
We did approval of that last year, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I think it worked very well.
Yeah, we did, and my boat is right in the middle of it, and it didn't cause me any grief at all. And this event has really taken off and is gonna put Rockport on the map for some outstanding music, along with these guys doing that in Fulton and the program over at the Arts Center. I think we've got
Hold my beer.
a pretty good draw. Let's add the music to the,
I do notice
Art media.
that on this written request, there is a request to install a slab.
that's the next one.
That's the next
That's the
item.
next
Where is it? Okay,
I make a motion to approve the songwriters.
I'll second it. All in favor,
Request.
say aye.
Aye.
And it is number 10, deliberating and possible action to approval of a concrete slab being installed on leased ACND property at Griffin Inc. at 202 North Fulton Beach Road. This installation is associated with Rockport Songwriter Festival. Tell us about that slab.
Yeah, Tommy or I, that tent is great, but when you have a tent up for a prolonged period of time, the vegetation tends to go away under it.
Yes.
So a slab to keep it from being muddy and other things over time. But Tommy, you're in that.
This
event
venue
quite often.
has really come around. That tent was purchased during COVID. The event planner in Corpus was liquidating tents, and Craig bought one to try to keep the restaurant going. And it's ended up being a really neat music venue. They've had volunteers build a solid stage. They've had volunteers put scaffolding for the lighting and the sound, and it's becoming a really, really neat venue. And what they've done is taken half of it and put a slab around the stage so that get so much dirt around all the instrumentation and so forth. So it's proven to be a pretty good deal, and I think we'll have a long-term lease there on that.
It's not our cost, is it? Cost out there.
No, we have no cost.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the installation of the slab on the AC&D lease property.
I'll second
Craig
it.
Griffin.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 11, consider impossible action on a request made by the city of Rockport to utilize the Laurel Street Festival grounds to host the Rockport Kite Festival to be held on April the 13th this year. The request includes the following setup day, which is scheduled for April the 12th, and a tear down, which will happen on April the 14th. Keith?
Yes, the Kite Festival, kind of has just grown out of the people's love for the kites. I mean, we have the wind, some of those big kites of all types of shapes and sizes, and
They're beautiful.
it's quite beautiful. And to turn that into just from a kite flying day to an actual event, I think it's its natural progression, and the city has taken on that challenge to do that. I don't think anybody from the city arrived today, but I would ask on their behalf if you would approve their dates.
I make a motion that we tell them to go fly a kite April 13th and April 12th and
I'll
April 14th on the festival grounds.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It is beautiful to see those kites flying. It'll probably be the only day this year when there's no wind.
Yeah.
Number 12, Harbor Master Reports, which are updates on projects and happenings on ACND property, which may include, but not limited to, construction, improvements and conditions at Rockport Harbor, Cove Harbor, Fulton Harbor, Festival Grounds, Beach, Little Bay, restrooms on ACND properties and projects, status of grants and issues with leasing. Leasing leases, whatever, I can't read it.
It's been a busy month. I attended the Governmental Affair Council, which is really a chance for all of the entities to sit in a room and talk about how we can not only work together, but on a lot of these particular things like the Kite Festival and like all these events, to make sure that our planning all kind of meshes with one another. As you can see by the list of your approvals, if it happens in Rockport and Fulton, the NAV district is involved in it. And so the inter-community and intergovernmental coordination is very vital in that respect. So I was happy that I attended that meeting because our spring and summer is about to kick off. Next, Judy and I attended the Ports Association meeting. It's held in various places in the state, but this particular one was held in Victoria. It was a nice meeting. They introduced Judy and I as to the group as one of their newest members. So that was very nice. But it looks like we're really going to be able to learn and also take advantage of things that is dealing with the Texas ports. Mainly recognition of the port's role within our state, not just locally, but really internationally with what goes on out of our Texas ports. The next, I wanted to say I attended the.
Do you want me to add now?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
I was just gonna add that, yes, it was a good meeting, like many of these meetings are. The people that you meet are almost as important as the information that you get, and we made some good contacts. I think particularly there was one gentleman an associate of the association, and he introduced himself as involved in marine insurance, and immediately Keith and I looked at each other and it's like, we gotta get that guy. So you did get his card,
Yes.
and that's gonna be important, could be very helpful for us.
It sure could be. Not just us are having insurance-related issues. It's everybody up and down the coast. And port properties like ours are some of the most impacted, but also some of the most expensive policies that there is, because most of us are next to the water or in floodplain zones.
Yeah.
So getting together with him will be good to see what opportunities could be out there, not just now, but in the future.
Yeah, I did want to add one other thing, was we all, as people here, maybe not all in the audience, know that there will be an ongoing economic study, and they are starting that process now. They hope to finish by the end of July. This is being conducted by an outside agency, and it looks like, we initially thought it might be a little over, our charge might be a little over 15 grand. Have you gotten a bill from them yet?
I haven't.
But it looks like they've had more people sign up on this, so that cost per district is coming down, which is good news. And I was concerned about a lot of that study is going to be focused on tonnage and oil-related issues coming out of the major ports. And so I did have a conversation with a couple of the representatives, and I said, look, we don't do that kind of business here at this district. The only thing that we have that we ship out, to my knowledge, is probably oysters. We send a lot of oysters out. And so I said, we need to have is it possible to have ours focus on the recreational aspects, you know, evaluating our marinas and the beach and, you know, all those things. And they said, absolutely, just when they called, we just need to request that. So that'll be very helpful, I think.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
The next item, I attended, if you can believe this, the Christmas on the Beach Awards meeting. You have never seen a room full of more energized Rockport Fulton citizens than that. It was nice to see them all come together and talk about their successes. The amount of cars, the amount of people that rolled through our properties to view those Christmas lights was really refreshing, because, you know, now you just don't see a lot of neighborhoods just go really decked out like maybe when we were children. For them to be able to bring so many people onto the beach property and view the Christmas lights, they have a lot to be thankful for. And it looks like the group is gonna be even more energized for this upcoming year. So that was a nice thing to attend. And of course, they wanted to thank the district for our participation. The next is the building that's going to house our newest vendor at Rockport Beach, the Tiki Boat. Their building has arrived. The vendor and I worked with the city to make sure that building could land down there. It's getting its appropriate approvals. It's gonna be tied down. It also has an evacuation plan, so if we do get into a situation, it looks like a tropical event's going to come, they have a plan on removing that building at that time. But it's exciting to see another beach vendor getting set up and really just enhance what already goes on that facility.
I have a question on that one.
Yes.
It's a fairly large, I haven't seen, but I've been told it's a fairly large building. Are they only gonna sell tickets there, or are they gonna be selling T-shirts and things like that?
Well, I'm sure they're gonna have a little bit of paraphernalia in there to entice their people, or while they're waiting for their particular boat trip to come up. But it's a portable building. It's pretty nice in nature. It's pretty raw on the inside, but I'm sure they're going to get that thing ready for the season. It's down, if you don't know exactly where it is, it's close to the fish cleaning station there by the boat ramp. So I think it will, like I said, it's gonna enhance the experience for many of our visitors who wanna take that ride.
Being in the same business, I'm really proud of these guys, and it's something that certainly needs to be done. And I think they're gonna be very successful and be a great addition and a draw for the beach.
Very
Yes,
good.
it will.
Very good.
The next, we hosted Candidates Forum at the pavilions last week. As you all know, we're in election season, and those type of events will continue. But we were proud to host one of those events. The Rockport Seawall Project, that is ongoing. Wow. These projects with the stone and all the things that has to happen, you will continue to see the big pieces of equipment and trucks and all that it takes to work on that. Next, we'll be dealing with concrete repair, but that is ongoing here at Rockport Harbor. The lighting for the sculpture was spoke on a little bit earlier in our presentation. We finally got that board under the road. If you look at old prints of this area, it says miscellaneous fill. There's all kind of stuff buried down there that we had to drill through to get to the other side of that road, but that has been accomplished. So eventually, when the lights on those sculptures go live, it will be a great thing to see. Oyster season, I don't have to tell anyone, oyster season's here. Holy mackerel. We're getting lots of calls, some good, that they're thankful that they get some fresh oysters, some not so good, with boat activities that are, I would say, not always positive. But we'll be wrangling that, dealing with that as the season continues. But for anybody who wants to call and wonder if we're aware that oyster season's going, we are aware. We are aware. Spring break is upon us. As you spoke earlier, Judy, about the portable toilets, there's going to be many more show up before spring break. We also, as you know, you've already approved a big event that's going to happen down on the beach. We're going to try to make that very successful. but also not as impactful to traffic flow and other things that really impacted our downtown merchants. We do want to see these big festivals happen. I think it's good for economics for our community. Does it create and many times more work and things for the district? Maybe so, but that's something challenge that we take on. And this one, be it the first one that we're having down there, we're probably going to learn a lot, but we have a pretty good start.
And that is the same day, weekend that Market Days.
Yes, it is.
So it's gonna be a combo.
It's going to be a busy place in Aransas County and in
one end to the
Rockport.
other.
And those of you trying to conduct business of any type, you ought to have plenty of customers at your doorstep.
And I would like, hopefully, Mike, you can kind of get it out that residents that are going to get their passes and want to get their passes for that event should come in sooner than later to get those passes, because they're not going to be available at the gate. And that's just it, right?
The only passes that, as everyone knows, it should by now, we've been doing it now for 8 or 10 years. Local discounted passes are sold inside the office. If you pull up to that gate, you pay that's retail. You pay if you want an annual pass or a daily pass, they are sold at the gate, and we'll be there with both booths open, really blowing and going, I hope.
First crunch.
But it should be an interesting time. As we all know, spring breaks are very weather centric. If it's good weather, I think it's gonna be very busy. If it's poor weather, we have some tough visitors. And that's all I got.
Can you give us a general, can you give us a general idea on how many passes we've recently sold, or even that were sold last year?
Yes, I didn't bring that number sheet with me,
general
but this last year at the front counter, we sold over 6,000 daily annual passes to local
I do have
residents.
that.
You have that?
I do.
All right.
I'll just take one and pass it down. This is a chart that I put together. Ann had provided the raw figures, and so I really put together 2 charts that she gave us. And this tells you 2022 and 2023 comparison. So the columns are daily number, daily figures, the sales, total figures, and then the number of annual, that's total passes. And then the third column is annual resident numbers, and then the amount of money from the resident passes. And then she's calling them annual tourist. So that's kind of those would be ones sold basically at the gate,
Yes.
not in the office. So, and that goes on all the way out, and it gives you the total passes and our total collections.
Very nice.
So,
Well, as
I thought
you
that made it, I thought the real interesting thing is that every category has declined from 2022 to 2023, except for the annual residents, and those went up about another 431 passes.
Well, that means that our local residents are taking advantage of their discount passes.
Sure.
So, good for them.
Yeah,
What's nice is we do get to see a lot of our local residents and get to wish them to enjoy the beach this year.
yeah.
But I think we dropped just a little because of COVID. In 22, that was the COVID year. And everybody in the state of Texas that wanted to get outside came to where it was open. We were. So I think our numbers kind of show that. But it was a very, very busy year.
I think that we also, the decline also goes along with what we're hearing from some of our, like the art center, aren't they finding that their numbers are down a little bit on
A little bit.
on the art show, so. And our total revenues were down, let's see, our total passes were down 11,614 year to year, and our revenues were down 143,570
From 22 to 20.
from 22 to 23, so.
Be interesting to see what this year holds.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. Now that we've got this, I think it would be helpful, I think, to do this year to year.
Sure.
So we can just tally it. I also wanted to point out that Keith and I had some discussion about the cost or in staff time of selling the passes. I'm not saying that we should not sell them, because I think it's a good idea, it's a great idea. But we also need to understand what that takes up in staff time. And I calculated, and I'm calling this interruption time, not the time that it takes at the desk, but from the time they hear somebody come in, somebody has to get up, go to the desk, take care of the business and get the money, verify, that whole thing. And so we picked a number, I don't know, 5 minutes seemed like a reasonable to average it out.
I would have never thought that so many people coming in to ask for a resident pass just didn't bring their ID.
Yeah.
That's true.
I was just astonished at that situation. But there's also a lot of people that we give the benefit of the residence pass if they're landowners here. So they need to prove that they own property here in Aransas County, and we at times get pulled into helping them prove that by looking at the tax site or something of that nature. But it is a benefit to our local residents, and as you can see by those numbers, there's a lot of them that take advantage of that, and I think they're very much appreciative of that discounted rate.
Well,
Now- Go ahead.
if we assume 5 minutes per transaction, and again, that counts time from getting up from the desk, walking, taking care of business and going back and then resuming what they were doing, that's staff time. Every 100 passes that we sell takes about 8.3 hours in staff time.
It adds up.
It adds up, that's the point, it adds up. And Keith said some days that when we're really busy, we might sell 150 passes. That's 12 and a half hours of staff time.
That's correct.
Now, you could argue that 5 minutes is too long, but there are some that could take much longer, yes. And we had to pick a number to go with, so.
Thank you for that.
When y'all mentioned that, I would like to add, I've gotten a couple of compliments on Deep help getting things done from you guys from the outside, so.
Great job to the staff, really.
It's our chance to basically meet and greet many of our citizens. It's pretty nice to hear the conversations that come out of that, from what's your favorite restaurant, or did they like to stay at a certain hotel, or whatever the case may be. But the interaction and the ambassadorship that my ladies exhibit by selling those passes to all those who come, it's pretty nice, and we enjoy that interaction.
Oh, I think it's a great value for the residents, and it's also great for us, but.
Do you have anything else, Steve?
No, that's it. We'll
I have a
follow up
question
on
for
that.
you.
Yes.
As far as public safety, the Crawfish Bowl Festival down the end of the beach, is somebody taking care of the traffic congestion that's gonna occur? Has somebody contacted paramedics and EMS to have down at the end of the beach?
I don't think
Is
they're
there
gonna
be
stay
is
down there.
Is there gonna be law enforcement displayed?
We volunteered you.
No, I don't think so. I already know what happens.
You're the most
I already know what happens during the fireworks, though. It gets bottlenecked in there. And, that's the question I've
That's
got.
good questions to make sure.
The PD's already being involved, the city of Rockport's already being involved. We know this is a busy time. It's gonna be similar to 4th of
Yeah,
July.
no difference.
I would
We hope.
Assume.
I would think. The reason why we wanted the goers of the concert and the Crawfish Festival to be down there, it's going to alleviate a lot of the traffic that has backed up in town. We pretty much know how to deal with the traffic on the beach. It's one way in, one way out. It's 20 miles an hour. It will be at a crawl. But as that date nears, we will firm up how many officers are gonna be here and all that.
Good questions. Item 13, Chairman and Commissioners report. Update on environmental and safety issues related to Little Bay and other district properties. The only thing I have is that everybody's noticed that the scum's back in Little Bay. I've seen it worse, I've seen it better, but it's there, and of course, that's a yearly event when we have a cold spell, everything on the bottom dies, and all that floats to the top, and if there's enough of it, it stinks. I haven't gone to smell it yet. I don't think I really need to. But if you're interested to see what this algae looks like when it's dead, floating on top of the water, just drive down there. You'll get a pretty good idea. And of course, it's enhanced by the fact that there's not as much water in Little Bay. We have really low tides this time of year. So it is going on, pictures have been taken, and that's really all I have. Y'all have anything?
No, we've covered my stuff.
Okay. Press questions, Mr. Mike.
Chief Johnson, one comment on your deal about the parking stuff, about every third paper, I have that in the briefs.
Yeah.
That he has, and then on the concrete deal, is that just the size of like where the tent is? I mean, obviously a little bit.
Yeah, it's inside the tent, approximately half. I have a diagram if you'd like to see it. Yeah, no, it doesn't, it's just inside the tent. And very functional.
Good picture when they pour it.
There being no further open business, I want to thank everyone for being here. At this time, we will conduct an executive closed meeting. The commission will recess this open meeting and conduct a closed meeting pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act to conduct private consultations with its attorney, who's here, under section 551071 of the Act. To deliberate regarding real property under section 551072 of the Act, to deliberate regarding personnel matters under section 551074 of the Act. Following the closed meeting, the commission will reconvene into an open session. At that time, we may or may not be voting on the Hatham lease.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to come back and be a part of what we decide to do, please contact Keith or Janine, and we'll make sure, or you can wait out there, but we can't, I know, but we can't tell how long that might be. Jerry?
Mr. Chairman, just for the benefit of anybody who might want to hang around after the closed session, this item on the proposed lease is not ready for final action. And what you have in front of you is a draft approved by the proposed tenant, and he and his attorney and I are still working on that.
So there will be no approval. You're still welcome to come back and hear us adjourn. So, thank you all for being here. I have
9:52.
9:52. We will recess for 5 minutes and then reconvene.
And,
No, I talked to Baron and he went
yeah.
back.
That being the case, I will accept a recommendation or a motion to adjourn.
Now, wait, are we gonna table item 7? We delayed it until the.
Let's table. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
it
say,
was not tabled, it was not tabled, that wasn't the word.
Now we're gonna table it. Okay. Someone make a motion to table it.
I'll move that we table item 7 on the request from, I'm sorry, not item 7. I'm just- From the
Five.
Hatham Dowlett regarding Cove Harbor Marine and Dry Stack. That item will be tabled.
second.
Made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
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 Now, do I have a motion to adjourn?
In a motion to adjourn?
It's a motion, though, there's a lot of emotion. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks for joining us, y'all.